Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Show. My name is Soul, and I don't know what the fuck I just watched. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I am not a fan of the old school Chip and Dale show. I'm not big on them, but you know, I really don't think it matters. I think this is one of those reboot kind of things where it doesn't fucking matter because we're taking these old characters that people liked, right? Some people still like Chip and Dale, and then we're gonna act like the whole thing. They were just actors, and these are the actors of Chip and Dale. Now in the year 2022, in kind of a Roger Rabbit world where animated characters are just living amongst humans, and there's all these different alternate animation styles of people just living out in the open, and it becomes a rescue mission where they're trying to save people, to save some cast members from the original show because they don't want them to get rebooted. You have Dale, who's clinging on to the past. He's going to like comic book conventions just trying to get people to take a photo with him for a couple bucks and living out his past. And you got Chip, who's moved on to better things. He's put it behind him, living his best life. And together they have to get the band back together. They have to rescue their old friend and stop Peter Pan from making them bootleg versions of themselves. Because Peter Pan is in this movie and he's turning characters into like Chinese knockoffs of themselves. And there is so much I have to unpack here. I don't even know where the hell to begin. I'll start with Chip and Dale. Chip is supposed to be like a 2D version. Like he's supposed to be the old version of himself. But the Disney, the people who like forged like some of the greatest 2D animation films of all time can't be bothered to actually draw a character anymore. He's just like a little like cel shaded version of a 3D character. He's still 3D animated. What the fuck? And then, Dale obviously looks atrocious. He looks like an Alvin and Chipmunks character. They make fun of that. They make light of that. They make light of a lot of things. This is almost like a full-blown parody or something. They're just making fun of everything left and right and just making 1,000 references. And for instance, they'll be like, oh, this character looks like a Polar Express character and has like the uncanny valley thing going on. When the rest of the movie still looks like ass. The animation in this movie is ass. Why are you making fun of other characters and other properties animation style when you look like ass? This film looks like ass. Like it literally will be a live action character whose acting ability, I forget her name, but like she does not have the acting chops to carry an entire scene where she's talking to like 4 different things that aren't there. She's the only live action person. You have cel shaded Chip, who we're supposed to act like he's drawn in canon. He's supposed to be drawn. Dale, who just looks like every other CD or 3D CG trash animated character in history. And on top of that, they're mixing like with a live action environment. Like they'll eat a pizza, and the pizza's 3D, but they're both the pizza's live action. Jesus, I'm losing my mind. But they are 3D, and it just looks weird and gross. And this happens throughout the entire movie. Characters' bodies morph, and it's ugly. It's just ugly. And but they have a bunch of references, and yeah, they got a bunch of things that I didn't even think Disney could get for references. I saw like Randy from South Park in there. There's this whole bit with ugly Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think that bit worked. They kind of like hit it over its head to the point it's not funny anymore. Like I was like, that was a good bit. Like I didn't expect to see that. And then they just keep going. And then he comes back around for like the finale, and I'm just like, well, now it doesn't feel funny anymore. Now it feels like I felt like, ooh, did you see that? Like, people are going off in the internet, like, oh, did you see that ugly Sonic cameo? And then by the end of the film, I'm just like, oh my god, like I don't even want to laugh at this joke anymore. I laughed maybe one or two other times. I laughed at like this bit that they did with Seth Rogen characters. Yeah, a lot of the time the references will just be making fun of things that this movie also does bad. Like, it's really trying to take the piss out of like, oh, the fact that we have to reboot everything and the cycle of film. And yeah, they don't do anything with that. They are literally doing that. They're like, oh, well, we have to bring Chip and Dale back in some way. The moment you're done with this film, I see an ad for the original show. You just want me to get clicking and watching things, don't you, Disney? Even though that's what you're making fun of in this movie. So all you've accomplished is pointing out the fact that how shitty the business side of films are. Thanks. Good job for making me feel like I've wasted my time and I've just become a zombie consumer. Thank you. I needed that. And then there's this whole thing with Peter Pan where the voice actor for Peter Pan has like a similar arc to what Peter Pan in this film goes through, where he grows up and kind of gets left behind, and the voice actor actually died homeless and broke. And it are we like, did Disney not even think of that? There's no way no one stopped to think of that, because a bunch of people online immediately thought about that. So there's no way that they didn't know. This is like an assembly line straight to Disney Plus film. And I am baffled as to every single step on that assembly line and how it still made it through. I don't know how the animation and everything in this film, that why it looks the way it is, made it through. And maybe the script didn't know what the film was going to be, but the script is just fucking wild. I don't know how John Mulaney and Andy Samberg became the voices of these two characters. Like, I don't need them to be the original voice actors. Like, when I think of Chip and Dale, I think of the fucking gummy ship from Kingdom Hearts, for God's sakes. I don't actually give a shit about these characters. You can change the voice actors. I'm not going to be offended. But this is the most I'm here for a paycheck performance I've seen in a while. And Andy Samberg, they just sound like themselves. I feel like I'm listening to a John Mulaney skit. I feel like I'm listening to an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's no chemistry between them, and there's no like authenticity or like actual emotion behind anything they do. Still, somehow relying on nostalgia and like the fact that I might already care about these characters. Well, I don't, and I certainly don't anymore, because they just fucking vacuumed any emotion out of this film. And I don't know why some people are defending this film, like, oh, they're purposely trying to make fun of everything and put a spin on it, and there's no good joke to follow it up. There's no nuanced thing it's saying. It's still just a bunch of references, or it's making fun of a bunch of shit, but also performing in that. You can't insult somebody else's bad animation and then look terrible the rest of the film. The thing about it is that character with the deadpan eyes, he felt right at home in this universe, because everything else just looks like ass. Even down to the final line of this movie, they're making fun of like, oh, well, all these movies end with like big pop song covers of like the old theme song, right? And then here comes Post Malone doing the theme song. It's another fucking paycheck. I'm a fucking zombie consumer. I don't know what we accomplished here, but it doesn't feel good. Like I said, there were a couple moments where I genuinely laughed. There's a couple moments I tried to like this film. I think I was just more confused. I was too confused to hate. I think I'm just more generally confused as to how this happened. I would love to see like a documentary of how this shit show made it across millions of people's screens. That sounds 100 times more interesting. Like a film like this, where it's just a nothing burger, it's just pandering, not doing anything. A lot of those I give like 5 out of 10s. I'm just indifferent about them. But I was genuinely offended by this film at many points too. And that combined with like a couple laughs, put that through my algorithm review generator brain, and I'm going to give Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers a 4 out of 10. Very low 4 out of 10. I am still amazed that something this disgusting exists. And it's by Disney. So yeah, that's what I thought of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Let me know your thoughts down below if you have any. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, with that, I leave you.